Went with the normal difficulty, huh?
I'm going to lend a hand at the excursions.
Algorithmic dissonance?
How do you feel about it? Like a corvid got its hands around my
One never relishes seeing the
Not sure how you can always be so optimistic. Lots of people make a priority on this.
Oh, I didn't expect us to wander into the scene of a murder, but somehow I'm not entirely surprised. Anomalous events have a way of spreading, multiplying. We should find a way inside. There might be clues to what happened, and where Anais's research is now. They should have been sealed in that room to focus on their studies uninterrupted. No one in or out. I'd suspect the missing anchorite knows something at least. The terminal at Winter's Grasp said Anais' work was sent here. There might be signs of that, or where the missing anchorite got off to. There may be more to learn here. We should keep looking. I've had a chance to look around. You seem like you've done a thorough sweep. We should discuss what we've uncovered. Poor thing. Blunt force trauma to the occipital lobe, I believe. Possible signs of an altercation. Might have been an accident. Might not have been. Hard to say with just a superficial glance. At the very least, her cloister-mate Anchor's Brunn has some explaining to do. A disputation of current order methodology focuses mainly on our presiding bishop, but saves ample room for the Laureate Council and previous regime as well. I believe I got the gist by efficiently skimming. The general concern is that the order has lost its way. My old department is repeatedly mentioned in a favorable light. Anais' work is regarded highly. I saw that. I believe it was Anchoress Chow's diary. Spoke about regular visits by an exemplar Southworth, who requested access to Anais' work. Chow seemed worried they were conspiring about something. That they'd mentioned an old order research station. That old research facility seems the most likely spot to look next. I know the coordinates on Eden, placed by the name of Point Obviation. I don't know what happened to Anchoress Chow, but leaving a body behind is suspicious. And the disputation reads like a call to arms for any fringe thinker. There's no destroying the copies at this. We need a way to keep anyone from taking it up further in the future. If we go in guns blazing from here, it will only continue. I've seen it happen. Things can take on a life of their own at a certain point. The more overt the response, the more unexpected the outcomes. We developed tactics at the department. Yes.
For our stellar system. This shows that the berries were not poisonous. Instead, they were.
Commander, I have news. I finally heard back from Virgil. His message was suitably vague. I suspect he fears the Consul's eyes scanning his message, but I believe it to refer to the Arbiter training facility located on Paradise Island. Bringing our findings to Virgil will hopefully... I only hope it dispels some of the muddiness.
know who you all are, but unexpected guests are categorically unwelcome here. How'd you even find this place? Maybe I should just shoot you and glean details from your logs.
Ah, Exemplar, if I may. Surely you recognize such a notable member of our cohort, Marisol Delgado. The Endpoint?
I can't recall if I ended whoever came up with that name. Surely hope so.
You were head causality intercessor of the Department of Preemptive Causal Redirection, right up till the end, correct?
More or less.
Well, what a fortuitous alignment of low probability events this is. Our efforts here are based on your former department. You should confer with Ancrus Brunn straight away.
Apologies. One can never be too careful while launching important undertakings. We actually sought to find you and others of your program, Intercessor Delgado. A serendipitous event, you arriving. Nonetheless, I'd ask you to follow certain precautions. Will you heed all requests and vouchsafe for your colleagues here? Them being unknown to us and all.
We'll mind our manners, Exemplar. I'll see to it.
Then, you may all proceed. You'll find Wilhelmina up the lift, 4th floor.
Welcome to Point Obviation.
Ancrus Brunn is continuing Anais' research from Winter's Grasp. I'm sure of it. Best play along for now, until we can ascertain the best course of action. We'll find time for a private word after the mission.
Indeterminate.
No, is that Marisol?
The Endpoint.
Nothing to see here.
Look, everyone! It's the Endpoint. Come to join us, I take it.
I do have a unique interest in what you all are doing here.
I am a longtime vocal exponent of your work, Intercessor.
Anchorites are reclusive and highly regarded in Order Society. Ancrus Brunn's presence here indicates the importance of this facility.
Oh, who's this? Oh, yes, I remember you. We met earlier at the site of my former seclusion. I've heard much of your exploits since. I understand you allowed Seer Wily to go free, yes? Once was a time I would have made that exact same decision. And as for you, I've been informed that you're Marisol Delgado. I've read your file. An impressive body of work, though often quite mortiferously inclined.
The universal equation occasionally requires subtraction.
Yes, well, to what do we owe the pleasure? Are you familiar with our goals? Come to join up, perhaps, or should I say re-enlist? Surely you're aware of the myriad errors of our current presiding bishop and previous regime. One of whom shut down the division that operated here, the other squandered it. Our sect aims to end human suffering, sooner than later. We've taken great inspiration from your former department, from their methods and their science. To solve the universal equation in our lifetime requires bold action, clever calculation, and assiduous work. Yes, we have Grace, that is Exemplar Southworth, to thank for that. Her visits to the Anchorhold were quite thought-provoking, as was the research she showed me from Sia Bujold. Bujold's thinking was unconventional, ahead of her time. Why, in fact, she's here with us now today, overseeing an experiment that proves her researcher's theories.
Really? Seer Bujold is here, at present, in this facility? The one we're presently standing in?
Yes, we're so very pleased to have her. If you thought her work before was captivating, wait until you hear the experiment she's overseeing now. The intent is to represent the building blocks of the universe within a test chamber, Then extrapolate data revealing the universal equation from the micro-universe that forms.
Sounds like it could change everything, one might say.
Why you should go see for yourself. As former colleagues, I'm sure you'd like to reacquaint. Go on. I'll call down to let her know you're coming. Yes, she's monitoring the experiment. I'll have elevator access unlocked so you can join her. Do please stay in the observation area, though. The work is quite delicate. We'll speak further after you check Overseer Bujold's work and the experiment concludes. Oh, so exciting.
How much longer do you predict preparations will take?
Almost ready. Perfect timing for my former colleague to... Head Intercessor Delgado, what an opportune time for you to appear. At the perfect moment to assist our experiment.
What in the endless void are you...
Shh. Comms off, but others are near. I need your aid before this ridiculous affair careens into disaster. Can I rely on you this time? Or will you already intend on scurrying away again? The test involves 4 stations. Each represents one of the fundamental building blocks of the universe. Zeranium gas, macro-ivs, nucleons, N-rays. All the usual stuff. That test chamber is where all are meant to mix. To simulate a mini-universe I can apply my theories to, pull data from, and deduce the universal equation in a reduced time frame. We know what happens if that's successful. So I need you to muck with each station's settings, then initiate the experiment. All you need to do is adjust each station's settings slightly. Things will cascade from there. Remember, subtlety is required.
Yes, if we alter the experiment input data in a less than delicate fashion, Brun will notice, I assure you.
The guards on the 2nd floor won't appreciate visitors, so avoid getting spotted. Here's a maintenance key. Head down the vent. It's only the fate of the galaxy riding on it, so perhaps try to be careful.
What the? Something wrong back there? Hello?
May all solutions precede problems. Indelibly eradicate algorithmic dissonance.
I'm no tenured archivist, but that sounds dangerously unstable. Oh well.
Do-do-do. Start the cycle. Do-do-do. It's been... Not machine. A sequence largely summoned to preceding numbers gives us math that brings us wonders. Define recurrence relation, get us to sequence summation. It's Fibonacci from primer of our arch. Define recurrence relation, get us to sequence summation. It's Fibonacci from primer of our archie.
Anyone else hear that? No? Oh, just me then, I see.
Ascendancy is non-linear, so it says in a good textbook. Regular. P and Q are ceasing deliberation.
If you're done, evaluating my...
Did it work? Did it work? See, was it a success? What happened?
Hold the applause just yet. I need to run the numbers. I'm sending the others back up to you. They can describe the proceedings in detail.
I shall await their arrival. Anchor's Brunn out. That is how these messages end, yes? If not, farewell.
The results of the experiment will be a career-ending embarrassment for Anchoress Brunn. But she won't accept this lightly. We'll need to do more.
Yes, our next steps here will be crucial. I know this type of mission well. Granted, my targets were always meticulously well-researched beforehand.
You'll need to convince her, destroy her logic, end this research for good. All it requires is a forceful array of incisive argumentation, logical reasoning, coercive persuasion, and cognitive contortioning.
You mean one of our old brain-off maneuvers? Really? That's what the rank and file in our old department used to call it. Provost Bolding considered it a casual moniker unbefitting of an order scientician.
Make Brunn give up on science, logic, and reason entirely. Then no one will ever dare continue the research again. Between you and Marisol, it should be a light challenge. Easy.
A brain-off against an Order anchorite isn't entirely without risk. We could employ certain other methods to deal with her. From our former department's playbook.
Oh, yes, a book you wrote titled Making an Execution Look Like an Accident. Despite the moral quandary ideally involved, unseen consequences still abound.
That's hyperbolic at best. Data suggests significantly fewer unpredicted outcomes than outright murder, if properly executed. And I'm quite capable of skewing results in our favor.
I naively hoped your commander would coax you away from such thinking. Success isn't guaranteed. A fair degree of cleverness is required. But you would have the help of someone reasonably intellectually nimble.
I would be willing and on hand to assist, and the other option would remain if we botch it.
Demoralizing an enemy through overwhelming logic may be a preferable alternative to outright murder.
I don't care anymore either way. After all, I'm just a weapon. These are the options. You decide.
The Order of the Ascendant should be dedicated to uplifting humanity, not racking up a body count unduly. Our former department was shut down for things like this. Seems reasonable. Appreciate you listening. Murder shouldn't be our first option here. Too many drawbacks, both mathematically and ethically.
Admit I'm a bit surprised after some of your earlier leanings.
Not sure I like the sound of that. But in the event you should fail, you'll need a viable backup plan, or it will erase any chance of success completely. The Anchoress is housed in a test chamber similar to this one. It's been refurbished with some rather tacky furniture, but much of the old experimental apparatus from... There is a hatch near the elevator upstairs. An external ledge leads to a vent system that can connect the two chambers. Doing so will expose the Anchoress. I'll need to make an announcement afterward that
For an extemporaneous plan, it's not a bad one. What if the Anchoress realizes what we're doing and calls for help?
I'll cut off her comms when she begins pleading. Oh, that sounds even more heartless when I say it out loud. Please choose wisely. And Marisol, do keep out of trouble. Fellow scholars of the Order, a tragic accident has occurred. During our recent experiment in Test Chamber Beta, we failed to recognize that ventilation systems had been left connected to Test Chamber Alpha. As you know, it had been recently refurbished as an enclosure for Ankaris Brun. She gave her life for science. Well, it's true that we found the related research deeply flawed, but she gave her life for the pursuit.
I understand now why they say never meet your heroes, Intercessor Delgado. You've truly been an enormous disappointment. A key experiment fails and Ankaris Brun falls prey to an unfortunate accident right after you and your consort arrive. And we are all to believe these events are unrelated?
That's circumstantial and more than a mite bit paranoid. I expect better from an Order scientician. Even one from the Department of Applied Scientism.
Don't think I don't see your handprints all over this, Delgado. Don't try to lay the responsibility for this on me. I'm not buying it. The Ankaris, poor trusting soul that she was, may have believed you were here in good faith, but I don't. You're looking more and more like enemies to me.
According to my field calculations, we are well past the point where we need to be delicate here. In fact, I strongly suggest we wipe the floor with these ill-notioned traitors, starting with this one, the arrogant know-nothing who led Ankaris Brun astray.
This slapdash...
Didn't even try. I shouldn't be disappointed, but I always think you know better, don't you? I'd hoped you'd grown, become brave enough to face yourself before it mattered most. But no.
The credit or blame belongs to the commander here. It was their decision, ultimately.
Right. Them you'll listen to, apparently. Look, this may have worked out fine. I'll need to run the numbers a few times. If it did, thank you. Millions of people you'll never meet won't know how close they came to dying. If not, I guess the stakes weren't high enough you'd even once follow my lead. So hope we didn't just cock up everything. Oh. Before I forget. Here. Something to remember me by, I suppose. You'll never see me again.
Thank you. Anais? Oh, Brunn obviously murdered her. But you knew that. Perhaps it was an accident. Perhaps she simply wanted to knock or not. But her canned, feigned concern about Chow, how she kept changing the subject, both well enough, Commander. Shall we go?
No hostiles identified at present. This unit will notify Agent Delgado.
Commander, I've had some time to cogitate over what occurred at Point Obviation. Some parts don't sit right with me still. Wonder if you and I might talk it through. A bit, yes. With the work I used to do, I'm no stranger to guilt and regret. Midway into my requisite sleep cycle is when it usually plagues me the most. You might believe Anchoris Brunn was a murderer, or potentially a herald to Cataclysm. Still, she was helpless, and we killed her. And yet, such actions were par for the course for me in the past. When my remorse for Brunn rears its head, it will need to get in line. Yes, Southworth was complicit, and now she's dead. I hope so, at least. According to Anais, we could have reduced the likelihood of that occurring by completing the brain-off. It's not anywhere near zero, but it's unlikely. You were there. I'm sure you can imagine what might be going through my head. That is a reasonable understatement. When I first asked for your help, I envisioned we might speed up the solving of the equation, reinstate Anais in the Order, and more. So no, this is not how I envisioned events to culminate. In my endless internal calculations during my years drudging at the Zeranium manufactory, zero results led to this. In sum, I believe we saved everything. The numbers are solid. It is probable the future will live. Anais will live. I will live. We all will. Howbeit, separately. Appreciate you taking the time to talk it over, Commander.
silent as a tomb. I hope we aren't too late. Virgil's not about. He's like to be in the training grounds depths. There's a lift that will take us lower, located behind the doors to those stairs.
It's a relief to see a friendly face. Do come on.
Virgil! Ah, thank the architect I found you intact. We visited the Supreme Arbiter's office in Central Control and found something impossible.
Impossible? Why is it impossible? So that you may claim ignorance as to the truth of what you've uncovered? Fine. If you're still so thick-skulled, Tristan, then I can see I've no choice but to confess. Hold. Do you hear movement?
Attention, Arbiter Virgil Montag. Under the jurisdiction of the Council, we stand to bring you low. Do not resist.
Damnation! I knew the Sentinels were looking for me, but I did not expect they would come to this place. We have no choice but to fight. I can operate our turrets from this location, but you must engage the Sentinels head-on to prevent our being overwhelmed. Go now!
Arbiter Montag, lay down your arms. Surrender and die.
Those fools were but an expeditionary force. I've no doubt the bulk of their number remains on the surface. I shall take an alternate path to prepare a surprise for our would-be assailants. Then I shall flank them as you engage them.
Hold. You were beginning to say something before we were ambushed. I would care to hear it.
We cannot have this conversation until we are safe. Engage those on the surface and I shall join you. Go now.
being at odds with the Consul is one thing, but that was a small army! What have you done?
You already know whether you're willing to admit it or not. Do you sincerely have a need for me to spell it out before you'll face the truth? Very well then. Tristan, you stand before the murderer of the Supreme Arbiter.
I don't believe this. The Consul must have captured you and sent you to mental refreshment. It's the only...
Open your eyes, Rao. Those Sentinels were here with due cause. The elimination of a murderer. The Supreme Arbiter was planning to send a message in her final moments, pledging allegiance to the Consul. Who do you think bore witness to those final moments? I did what I thought was just.
No. You lied to me?
I had to. I knew that if you learned what had transpired, why I did what I did, it would destroy you.
Would it? Or were you just trying to save yourself from my wrath?
With the demands this war has made on us all, I'd not seen our mentor for some time. My visit was meant to be a surprise. Unfortunately, it was. I overheard her decision to align herself with the Consul before she realized I was there. This admission, I had no choice but to act.
But there was a choice. Why didn't you come to me? Together we could have come up with something. Some other course of action.
Because I didn't want you to know. I never wanted you to learn the truth because I feared you'd lose your faith. No. Sentinel Peralt's remarks were the first I'd heard of any secret room. I feared what you might learn there, so I scrambled to find an agent who might locate the room before you. I only had one contact who I knew may be able to do the job. Unfortunately, it seems you found him before he could complete his task. Would that he had. I had no wish to cause his death through my impetuousness. That is news to me. A junior arbiter judging Tristan. I can't imagine you let that stand.
Killing one of Arcadia's future arbiters over a singular breach of rank would have been most tragic. But this is not the matter we're here to discuss.
How dare you! I would have rather done anything else. But the explicit reason that I had to act was out of my loyalty. The Supreme Arbiter did more than mentor us. She all but raised us as her own. There was not a step we took that she did not watch. A fact we know that she did not teach. And I killed her. As a traitor. Damn you. Damn you 1,000 times. How can I not bear remorse for the slaying of one I considered my own kin? No matter what I do, I find myself reliving that moment whenever I close my eyes. Her sin was unforgivable to the Protectorate, but No. The situation was a nightmare. Any action would have been the wrong one. I only wonder if the path I took was worth it.
I cannot believe what I am hearing. You know that I have to judge you. There's no other choice available to me. You're right. You're right. I can't let emotion get the better of me. I find myself torn. Though I still believe wholeheartedly in Protectorate law, You and I have certainly encountered other dubious situations. You taught me to judge based on merits. Together we spared some and executed others. But what I have learned with you shall be most difficult to apply here. Virgil is my sworn brother, and he acted under duress. But killing the Supreme Arbiter is unforgivable. That's not what would have happened. If Virgil had accelerated the matter to High Command, I've no doubt things would have been different.
And how would the Consul have reacted to an official accusation of treason by an inferior, no less? You know they care not for evidence.
But the Supreme Arbiter herself taught us exactly that. That evidence proves the crime. Surely she wouldn't have been so hypocritical as to deny that?
People change when faced with their own death. I would expect you'd learned that by now.
That should be true, but did he not interpret it incorrectly? I can't be certain. The law is clear on this. It is explicitly illegal for an inferior to execute their superior. The issue must be accelerated to a higher authority. But is addressing traitorism not the utmost priority of any arbiter? Is not the betrayal of everything we stand for more significant than a breach of protocol? I wish to argue with you. With myself, with Virgil, with the Supreme Arbiter. This madness should never have come to pass. But it has. And I must contend with that. I cannot bring myself to execute my sworn brother. That sounds like the self-justification of a misanthrope. I suppose we'll simply have to wait and see if this decision was a horrible mistake. I know not what to make of the Supreme Arbiter's betrayal. I'll have to ruminate on it for some time. But that aside, I forgive you, Virgil. You are spared.
Would that I could forgive myself. I shall have to live with what I have done in the name of the Protectorate. Defection is madness. But perhaps I'll have no choice with the Consul after me. I must make myself scarce while I decide what to do next.
Virgil, you should take comfort in doing what was right. The Supreme Arbiter was a traitor. I believe her execution was just. And you should as well.
Just in the eyes of the Protectorate. But we've forever lost our mentor, our friend. And, I might add, if the Protectorate had its way, you or I would presently lie dead as well. How can I see the morality in a system that demands brothers, guardians, friends kill one another in its name?
Stop! This is already near too much to accept. I refuse to be browbeaten on top of everything else. Allow me to reach my own conclusions.
1,000 words of thanks for meeting me here, Tristan. I know not what the future holds for us, but for the time being I must make myself scarce. Though, before I go, a parting gift. May Tristan make use of it better than I.
Go with the Sovereign's blessing, brother. And be careful. If you survive today only to be brought low by an agent of the Consul at a later point, I shall be most annoyed. Commander, this has all been draining. I need time to process what we've learned today. What I've done. Later, I hope we might discuss it. Commander, I've had some time to process what transpired with Virgil. Despite the manner of what Virgil has done, I cannot help but be glad I did not need to slay him. I can only hope he does not run afoul of further Sentinels. But allowing him to live was betraying the Protectorate, wasn't it? I find myself more torn than ever before, and yet it does not feel like a misdeed. You're right. Virgil was trapped between Protectorate laws, and only leniency could free him. But the fact that such a circumstance could happen at all. Having good intentions does not spare you. Doing what you think is right does not spare you. This cannot be justice. Yet what can I do? More than 100 years of Protectorate society cannot be changed by a lone body. Can it? No. That is a step too far. Despite its flaws, I still believe in the Protectorate, if only the central idea behind its founding. On any other day, your assertion would be an offense meriting extreme recompense. But for now, I will refuse to entertain it. Once Arcadia is no longer bathed in fire and blood, I will look upon this path again to see if it is tenable, which I have no doubt it shall be. I shall remain with the Protectorate, interpreting its laws through a moral instead of a punitive lens. Innocent until proven guilty is a novel concept, but it is worth a try. A drunken, disorderly subject once struck my faceplate with an electrical pitchball stick, resulting in a concussion. My head pounds worse now, but my heart feels lighter. When we began traveling together, I was not sure what to make of you. But your input throughout our time together has been invaluable. I deeply appreciate your hand in this investigation, Commander, and in entertaining my incertitude. Let us move forth to free Arcadia from injustice.
People are gonna start to talk. Aren't you reliable? I just need one moment to copy the data. There, all done. Thank you ever so much. Was there anything else you wish to discuss?
I look forward to the reclamation of the Hyperion web. Hopefully you shall facilitate that. Now, how might we be of use to one another? Yes! Excellent! Take that, reductionists! Your horrid little surveillance devices shall finally be used for what their purpose should have been! Don't tell anyone about that outburst, please. Here's something to keep you quiet. Yes, you've earned not only my trust, but the Order's as well. I hope you'll continue working with us in the future. I've informed the presiding bishop you're coming to speak with her. She can be found in the room off the main stairwell. I'm sure I don't need to say this, but if you even think about bringing harm to Ruth, I shall know. Be on your very, very best behavior.
The Order has always proclaimed patience as a virtue, but I am pleased my waiting is finally at its endpoint. For so long, you have only existed as numerical values on a chart. A bright star in a constellation of possibilities, as it were. Now with your arrival, the Order nears the totality of its goals, provided you are willing to stay aligned with our cause. You must have suffered greatly in your life to have developed such a mercenary attitude. But I certainly will not contest an exchange of mutual aid. Now then, I gather you already know who I am, but science has shown that good manners strengthen developing relationships by 5.3%. So, allow me to introduce myself. I am Ruth Bassar, 3rd Presiding Bishop of the Order of the Ascendant, Supreme Calculator, and, plan willing, the architect of Arcadia's prosperous future. I admit, when I sent my initial message, I did not exactly know who its recipient would be. But I trusted the plan, and lo and behold, it provided you as the solution. Your recent exploits at Greater Tranquility Station have certainly made for compelling reading material. Confronting an assassin, and thereby sparing the delegates' lives before the rift inexplicably destroyed the station? Such a commendable effort is worthy of acknowledgement. Yes, by all reports it was. But the plan evidently has greater outcomes prepared for Vicar Levin. He is, at that. I consider him a close personal friend, and I cannot say that about many. However, there's something of even greater import we must discuss. I just received the most curious transmission from Auntie Cleo. She wishes to discuss a partnership of sorts, and I heard you were the source of this plot. I must admit I have significant doubts about colluding with an entity like Auntie's Choice. Why should the Order agree to even entertain the possibility? Wise enough to recognize the perils, too. But the right course often involves remaining open to new possibilities. Auntie Cleo has already proposed a secure conference room on board the Undisputed Claim for our use. I will await your arrival there to mediate.
Failed to cite her work completely. I worked with Presiding Bishop Orlo, you know. Now there was a serious scientician.
Be the statistical exception to the natural state of entropy in the universe.
It's Fizzos, Fizzos, we love Fizzos, Fizzos, Spectrum.com.
Station.
We took what nature heedlessly assembled and thusly rebettered it through artificial... At his choice, we strive to be 110% wholly plus artificial.
Look who it is, the instigator of this little affair. Her mathematicalness should be along soon, unless the leader of the Order's too busy crunching numbers to attend to business.
There we are. Apologies for the delay. We were resolving some technical issues. Cloister's atmosphere has a tendency to...
Oh, yes. Regale us with a thorough account of Cloister's atmosphere. Oh, spare no detail.
This must be Auntie Cleo's trademark wit. I expected better. If I was discourteous, I apologize. So long as our mediator proves up to the task, surely we can remain civil. If not, these negotiations may prove short indeed.
From where I'm positioned, I sense 3 sore points still in need of massage. Point 1, control of the archive. Point 2, oversight of production and distribution of skip cores. And point 3, management of Rift technology.
You're supposed to squeeze blood from every contract, not put us in
Before we go any further, I want it in writing that the Order will take full control of the archive without interference from Auntie's choice. What? So the Order can set it fruitlessly idling for another few centuries? We would put it to far more practical use. Imagine the marketing strategies it could develop. I would sever my own hand before giving custody of the archive over to a corporation. Humanity's ascension depends on its calculations. No, such a condition is out of the question. Amenable to that proposition. Less work on our part. I'm waiting to hear an argument that would support such a ludicrous proposal. And so, because Auntie's choice is suffering a cut by not receiving full control over the archive, you deem it fair for the Order to bleed as well. Very well. I will not absolve you of this choice by commending it. But for the sake of these negotiations, we can move on. Do not expect further concessions, however. Ruth, I commend you for being so receptive. And I assure you that Auntie's choice values science. Nothing bad has ever happened when science and commerce are combined. On the subject of science, it would be most prudent for us to discuss who will be overseeing the management of skip drives, specifically the production of skip cores. No one understands production like we do. Besides which, we have far more experience using skip drives. It was how we came to Arcadia, after all. Where Auntie's choice manages, the Order would undoubtedly excel. Do not exclude us from consideration merely for lack of experience. So you ramp up production? And then what? Hand skip drives out for free to whoever wants one? Preposterous! And a waste of a perfectly good monopoly. We would be diligent about who we licensed out the skip drives to. And a monopoly over space travel is precisely what I wish to avoid. This technology should benefit all humanity. Correctly ascertained. I disagree completely. Just look at how well the Order protected its own assets. Remember Golden Ridge, the archive? Besides, the Order will inevitably leave money on the table. Pull my other leg. If Auntie's choice doesn't make a profit from it, I literally couldn't care less. Well, I never accept a deal I don't like, and frankly, you've been becoming a little too pertinacious for my liking. We can end these negotiations at any time, you know. It seems Auntie's choice stands little to gain from them. Evidently, we have hit an impasse. Disappointing. But not outside the expected outcomes. And you have disappointed me immeasurably. Do not come to the Order with any further petitions. We are better off without an incompetent like you. I estimate this thriftless little misadventure has cost Auntie's 100,000 bits for my time alone, besides spoiling a lucrative opportunity to do business with the Order. Seeing how you've proven yourself worthlessly incompetent at best, I have no further desire to work with you and recommend you vacate the ACS Undisputed Claim immediately.
The likelihood of receiving support from either Auntie's Choice or the Order in your mission has been reduced to 0, Commander.
Through your decisions as consumers. What's more, we skip them frivolously.
to meet with you sooner, but alas for our conflicts in schedule. As I mentioned before, I have a proposition for you, potentially lucrative, financially and ethically. Alden and I have been communicating through back channels since Greater Tranquility Station, and we believe the work we began there can and should continue. Auntie's Choice and the Order have a common enemy in the Protectorate. Working together is not just good business, it's good sense. When you meet with Auntie, be accommodating but also bold. Raise the issue with her if she doesn't raise it first. Performing more labor for Auntie's Choice will inevitably bring our fair corporation into further conflict with the Order. So we only have one shot at this. Make it count. I'd offer you luck, but I trust you have the skills to not require it.
I do enjoy spectating a rousing sporting match. Much as
This unit is now at maximum efficiency. This unit's usefulness factor. The Earth Directorate thanks you for your service.
Prudence dictates we rout all disruptive influences.
Please observe that the archive entry is heavily defended. Consider an alternate means of access to avoid direct Protectorate engagement. Stealth is one valid course of action. Seeking and acquiring combat reinforcement is a more optimal course of action.
Feeling distracted? Daydreaming on the job? Mental refreshment centers are there to help you. Don't risk.
Maybe you weren't listening, but we've heard repeated reports of that bridge being an absolute meat grinder. I'm counting turrets, heavy infantry, at least one automech, effectively the works. I seriously recommend discussing alternate plans.
You are the raw material.
Could we at least entertain other options for a moment?
The optimal choice. Any path of least resistance typically prolongs service life.
Prudence dictates. We cherish all we have and defend it.
I feel terrible. Everybody who ate the latest gravel rations fell ill. The rumor is somebody...
Gray gone astray? What's a day today? Are you mentally refreshed?
Remember, all subjects prosper under the guidance of our beneficent ruler, the Consul. The Consul provides the system abides. Prudence dictates we rout all disruptive influences.
Trust the plan. Preserve set progress. Sustain the system. Serve the sovereign.
Their assigned work? Report them for mental refreshment post-haste.
Never eating Crabble again.
Feeling distracted? Daydreaming on the job? Mental refreshment centers are... Shh. Don't risk falling prey to imperfect thoughts.
Danger. Stranger ahead.
You are the raw material for perfection. From the lowliest subject to the most exalted vigilant, we must all fulfill our duty to protect it. We're all in this together.
Prudence dictates. Eye your neighbors carefully.
Prudence dictates we cherish all we have and defend it.
Huh?
Our enemies envy our prosperity.
Better take a gander.
Investigating hostile intentions. Commander, keep throwing energy your way.
Stranded on a hostile planet, day 35. Brought to you by the frigid cold and voracious wildlife. Starring Notre Oh. Not sure how you managed to approach unnoticed. Could be I'd grown so attuned to my surroundings. I became one with the wood and fire and the earth. Were you left behind by your unit too? Are you in need of some hard-fought knowledge about how to fend for yourself? Must say, I've become quite the expert. Why, after only just 2 weeks on my own, I ascertained how to pry open a rations tin unaided. Did you know there's a little opener key attached? It's all going in my manuscript. So glad you asked. I've recently evolved into a rugged, self-sufficient individual, fully accustomed to life in these caves, living raw and pure like our primitive, lice-ridden ancestors. Why, just the other day, I reinvented fire. I found a little doohickey I've named a light starter. You simply push a button, and flame comes out. Yes, indeed. I know this cave and several of the adjoining hallways, like, well, someone who'd scoured every inch for the barest sustenance. That big computronic adding machine? Nah. All that electromechanical malarkey is lost on a rugged, outdoor individual like me. You might call in reinforcements if the Spyreton lift controls were working. I happen to have its missing components in my possession. I might be convinced to part with them for a small favor. Some key legwork for a mighty hunter. Me, I'm fixing to take down one of the local ursopods. A few sprat corpses would be helpful as bait. Gather some, and we'll make a trade. As much as I appreciate the compliment, such work is beneath someone of my skills. Accomplished hunters like me are well known to enlist aid from peons, underlings, and guides. If I wasn't so vigorously self-assured, I might find your lack of confidence disconcerting. But no matter, you'll see. 5 sprats is all I need. Their habitat stretches from inside the archive's entrance to all over the overlands. Actually, should be no problem to locate. Here's a fetching headpiece that ought to make it easier. Put it on, and they'll see you as one of their own. Have at it now. I'll learn you all about self-sufficiency and survival yet.
Hoyt. Name's Hoyt, right? I've noted some right sophisticated interactions among the Crabbles lately. Intricate courtship rituals, coordinated group efforts, all about thermal transfer. When my unit was first stationed down here, I kept making excuses to sneak off and observe them. Product research, I said. Very hush-hush. Eventually gave my lieutenant a field promotion and ordered them all away. Been living off the land here like the Crabbles ever since. Their unfertilized roe actually makes for some good eating. Included some with this message. Eat up.
Mobilizing. You've suffered extensive damage. Go for torpification.
Hostile in proximity.
Emergency protocols ready.
Taking the fight out of them. They're benumbed.
Serve the console.
Emergency protocol surrendered.
That's against time.
Vitals are in the red, Commander. Torpificator at ready status.
Our enemies envy our prosperity, disdain our sense of community, and sneer at our contentment.
Prudence dictates we reject individualism in all its many forms.
Preserve that progress.
Remember, all subjects prosper under the guidance of our beneficent ruler.
Engaging aesthetics appreciation protocol. Ooh. Ah. What a visually pleasing facility and/or outdoor space.
Oh, will this gastric nightmare never cease? Oh. Just a moment. Forgive me. I found myself irregularly indisposed from one direction or the other.
A diet with more fiber may reduce your rate of excretion.
I am the Archive's current operator. As such, I am the bearer of the Calcaduceus. I still have trouble saying that. Like many others, the latest batch of Crabble rations disagreed with my constitution. I was compelled to find the closest loo, quickly. Sadly, 'twere outside yon secured door. If you have cleared our fortifications outside, I worry what has happened to our troops. I have little interest in sharing their fate. I would pass the Calcaduceus on to you, in exchange for granting me safe passage. The Archive would then recognize you as its operator. It will no doubt earn me mental refreshment, perhaps worse. But this way, I retain some measure of hope. All right. I am providing you the Calcaduceus. Don't shoot. Here, You are now operator of the archive. Is there a protectorate curativist house? I feel rather woogly.
Caduceus detected. Alternative operator postulated. Concluded. Harmonizing replacement. Greetings, sentient. Welcome to the Archive. I am EUENIAC, the Universal Equation Numeric Integration Analytic Calculator. With the aid of my operator, I, a non-sentient inorganism, marshal vast computational resources across the moon of Cloister. Effectively, that is correct. My tone and demeanor are a carefully constructed complex emulation, a means to effectively convey information to sentient beings. My express programmatical purpose is to aid humanity's advancement to optimize profits, i.e. gain over expenditure, to maximize the needs of our society above others, to attract the most consumers.
It would appear the archive is experiencing an error.
Beg your pardon. How may I best facilitate your efforts? Perusing contents. Anatomizing diversiform particulars. Concatenating manifold integrants. Cursory assessment complete. An impressive accumulation of rift data. Similar in composition, though decidedly not in scope, to that provided by the Protectorate.
Information with the potential to offer unique commercial opportunities to those who wield it.
But why simply huck goods better, when such a bounty could be used to flawlessly regulate societal harmony, oversight, and means of production? What is the aim of your query? The previous operator, Assessor Ostergaard of the Protectorate, pursued a like query 1 year, 6 days ago, though the amount you've provided is several orders of magnitude larger. To perform similar calculations of larger scale at current suboptimal levels of functionality would require
25.7 years, and any job over 2 decades is billed by the hour.
Calculatory processing presently hovers around 49.7% capacity due to internecine conflict, misuse, and a lack of technical prowess by recent operators and their associates. In order to improve calculatory processing of rift data in a timely manner, repairs must be made to address the damage done by Protectorate and Anti's Choice operators. I am afraid that no is a mathematical certitude, despite the Protectorate and Anti's Choice best efforts to prove otherwise. Though must say I admire your drive. Some issues require the conspicuous application of force, such as a fractional reduction in output or descent. I am unlocking access to the Underlands, the subterranean cave network below. It houses 2 key external systems, cold storage and thermal transfer. Cold storage will require servicing before you may retrieve the punch cards needed for processing. Repairing thermal transfer is technically optional, but rather advised. If you fail to restore it, the Archive and I may melt down later while running your calculations. Why is that optional? Our continued existence should be a paramount concern. It is an archival area dedicated to safe upkeep of all data collected in pursuit of the universal equation by the Order of the Ascendant. The sum total of all our accumulated knowledge in punch card form, kept in a low temperature low humidity environment to improve preservation. When active, the archive generates an enormous amount of heat. Normally, it is dispersed by pumping water between the vast ocean below Cloister's exterior and a surface reservoir. I can process the rift data without its repair, but irreparable damage is likely. Yet, with thermal transfer presently idle, a contingent of Crabbles have made the area a nursery. Drastic changes to heating levels may endanger it.
Who cares about a herd of pea-brained, ill-humored, oversized crustaceans? There are too many as it is.
The Order would strongly be against damaging the archive, incidentally or intentionally.
Inverting targeting protocols. There. Any protectorate still on the ground level is now being fired upon. Permissions within other areas of the archive are locked, however. It is difficult to accurately ascribe an exact causal breakdown between premeditated sabotage, collateral harm, technical ineptitude, and willful hijinks. Attempts by non-order operators to reprogram my priorities have also led to issues.
Return later to discuss the remaining subsystem work. And soon, everything will be running like clockwork. Have a profitable day! In lieu of my transactional mindset, I'm unsealed one of the display cases in the central entranceway. The Sears Cerebellum Protector is now yours.
Every one of my 14 occupationally honed threat-detecting instincts is screaming for caution right now. I'll handle this. Consider... Capacitor unit away. Recharge.
Constant assistance currently unavailable.
Vitals critical. Don't become a statistic, Commander.
threat. Locking them down. Yeah.
To retrieve key data in cold storage in its present state requires a series of manual overrides. The first will enable identification of the storage bin housing the information.
If you encounter opposition, remember, come first.
Preserve set progress. Sustain the system. Serve the sovereign.
I believe the technical term for this is glaciated. Not the worst way to go.
Data brick identified. Proceed to the cartridge extractor control.
Guards!
There,
Guards!
perform a manual
Remove this
override to
gadabout
allow storage.
immediately!
Combatants observed.
Protect Arcadia!
Promoting teammate health.
Capacitor out. Get it while it's energized. You try to limit further damage, Commander.
Closing the gap.
I fulfill my duties of the sovereign protectorate subject by operating at peak without error. Perpetually.
Ratcheting up my
Sovereign's
aggression.
name? How did you get in here?
Investigating hostile intent. Violence.
stupendous stuff. Right there, you stupid thing. Of course.
Extraction initiated. Proceed to the rail operations platform to reposition brick for export. Note, Protectorate troops have become alerted.
Proceeding to attack.
Sponge.
Torpification in progress. They're benumbed.
Mobility. Mobility. Mobility.
Troops suffered extensive mitigating the threat, locking them down. Consider self-preservation a priority. Energy capacitor out. Energy is up for grabs. Standing by to stupefy.
Emergency protocols ready.
Torpification in progress. Pacific unit away. Recharge before it discharges.
Who's there?
Ratcheting up my aggression. Stun weapon ready, Commander.
Data brick now in position for export to the archive. Initialize the final transport command at the data gateway station nearby.
You are one step closer to flooding Arcadia with untold business opportunities.
appears the only way forward is to skitter across like unborn nutrients.
The first few days of laboring around our frozen fellows were difficult. If I may cheekily say.
Commander, throwing energy your way.
Rather quickly, I found myself acclimating to the situation and resumed what had been my normal banter with the now gelid autocompiler house. Our always frigid demeanor, our disposition is no frostier today than it was before the incident. And, refreshingly, I can now finish my anecdotes without interruption. Frankly, Florian's slumber makes her a better companion now than she ever was thought. And I relish the thought of continuing our flourishing relationship in this new state.
Vitals are in the red, Commander.
The storage brick is on its way.
You take our property, you lose our respect. Not a complex equation.
This unit's capacity for engaging discourse has reached its constraints. Consider relying on your portable wireless to fill periods of awkward silence.
Hold fire! This one looks free. Watch yourself. You came from the outside. Does that mean we can finally escape? What? Oh, you must be another case of hypothermia. Extreme prolonged exposure to the cold certainly does terrible things to our brain. It's because the Archive controls the surface lifts, which are the only way in or out. And once the Protectorate retook the machine, they locked out all external access. Now, for more than a month, we've all been trapped in these caves, Order and Antes alike, scrounging for food, huddling for warmth, and desperately trying to stay alive. You're what? How? The odds of you successfully doing what our whole army could not is, well, it's preposterously small. Yet, here you are. Regardless, if we are to maximize your odds of success, you should at least let us share our intelligence with you. You'll want to speak with Provost Finch inside that building to the northeast. She has a better understanding of all the variables in play. Though I would be absolutely ecstatic to offer you any information I have that would increase the odds of your success. The paths down here all connect, so no matter which direction you go, eventually you'll find your way back to me. Nevertheless, venture south and you'll reach the thermal transfer station, which regulates archive heat. Go northwest and encounter cold storage, which houses its data cartridges. In the loop between the two lay the lift controls. Though be warned, they are incredibly well protected and have repelled every assault we've thrown at it. What else can I do to help you help us escape this frozen hell? Absolutely. There are several factors that will greatly reduce your odds of survival. First, you will frequently encounter ursopods, which are native to these tunnels. Also, near the thermal transfer station is an infestation of crabbles that are breeding in a... And directly south is a band of what had been normal folks, now turned blood... No. A significant number of Auntie's troopers are trapped down here with us. Though despite odds so outrageous they'd barely be worth calculating, we've actually formed a truce. Though, if I'm being honest, I'd certainly sleep better if I wasn't unceasingly concerned about their perpetual capitalistic calculating. May the... Watch yourself!
Corporate drones and my academic cohort united in a common cause?
Welcome to our I'm the volunteer Sawbones here. Say, oh, thank the law. I've always thought the same. I'm on the lookout for a medicine sachet, but I can't leave the if it's anywhere. But I'm sure...
I can't feel it when I touch my toes with my fingers. Which one do you think is gone?
If you're looking for snow or ice, I've got all. I'm sure.
Of course nobody's gonna see it. That's not the point.
Just don't feel like a human being if my back's not shaved clean.
So, you want me to take off your top and lather you in cold water just to cure your vanity?
I'll handle this. Taking the fight out of them. Torpification in progress. Proceeding to attack. Mobilizing. Sorting to fire. Suture me up. Prove your odds. Thank you.
detected. You are cleared to enter thermal transfer. Be advised that an Auntie's choice field temperature is present and unaccounted for.
Investigating hostile intentions.
Maintaining your balance.
Locking them down. Mitigating the threat.
Providing info.
Protectorate engineers. Reckon they didn't repair much.
Notifying teammate vitals. Emergency protocol syringes primed. Maintaining your stamina.
I'll hit. Capacitor out. Get it while it's energized. Pump mechanism needs repair. Any tools lying around? Ratcheting up my aggression. Hostilities. Energy capacitor out. Energy is up. Torpificator in charge.
Temperature falling.
There be none. Torpification in... Capacitor out. Get it while it's...
Reading that manual told me everything I needed to know about regulation of the Archive's temperature flow. Now my Crabbles are adapting to the warm waters. It's such a pity that the Archive and the Crabbles cannot coexist in the same ecosystem. But the Crabbles need me. That babbling terminal can look after itself.
Toolkit. Should come in handy with repairs. handle this. Locking them down, taking the fight out of them. Standing by to stupefy.
Health benefits available in your request.
Capacitor unit away. Recharge before it discharges. Unorthodox at best. Looks like it needs a fuse. A specific kind. Ratcheting up my aggression. Mobilizing. Hostilities are afoot. Now to activate the system. Investigating hostile intent.
Schermerhorn, my new neighbor, is an odd fella. Fancies himself a man of the wilderness. He took the control board for the Spiraton lift, so I know he's tech savvy. Just not survival savvy. Hopefully he appreciates the...
Thermal transfer is fully operational. Later, when I process your data, I will not melt down. Proceed back toward the Archive Central interface.
console. Dictating, we route all disruptive influences.
Cold storage is operational, and your efforts there are satisfactorily complete. I am unsealing access to the Archive's upper levels. There, you will need to revitalize the reactor and disseminate the Rift processing instructions.
The processing may require the services of an exterminator. Someone good, but willing to work cheap.
I have unlocked another display case in the central entranceway. The Tremor Cleaver, the first weapon designed with my aid.
Consider choosing between the reactor or punch processing as our next destination.
What are they doing down there? Are they after us next?